We're excited to announce that we're bringing back Sauna Camp 2.0 on March 20th from 2 to 8 p.m. We had this last year. We had 42 owners. This year, we're maxing out the capacity of the camp, which is going to be 60 people. We're going to have a wellness panel with some Everest summiters, as well as some Iron men and women to compete, and all about wellness and how they prioritize their health and wellness, not only in training, but in their lifestyles and in their business. And then we're going to have a 2-hour window of sauna and cold plunging in the lake, and then an amazing wood-fired grill, Mediterranean style food at the end of that. So if you're interested, please head to curiousbuilder.com. Under retreats, you'll find everything there is about Sauna Camp on March 20th in Minnesota.
When I meet a customer, I say, don't pick me because of my price. Pick me because you know that you and I can have the hard conversations. If you can't have those hard conversations with me, pick somebody else, because this is going to be a marriage for the time of this build and selections and all that stuff. It's hard, and not everything will be perfect, but we will do our best to make it as perfect as it can be, and maybe even better than what perfect was supposed to be.
Today on the Curious Builder podcast, we had Trapper Roderick in from Roderick Builders out in Utah, and we have a great conversation. He's been on a few times before. We've talked about mental health, which is really wonderful. We talked about our time together at the Contractor Coalition, but this one is really deep. We talk a lot about, the boundaries that we set for our families and really try to enjoy, the journey and not the destination. Without further ado, here's Trapper Roderick. Welcome to the Curious Builder Podcast. I'm Mark Williams, your host. Today we have a 3-time returning guest because he did 2 20-minute segments. If you missed those, go back to our Thursday Q&As a few weeks ago. Got Trapper Roderick, Roderick Builders out of Park City, Utah. What's up, Trapper?
Not much, man. How are you today?
I'm doing awesome. I was excited. It's funny because usually I do an hour interview and then I'll have repeat guests on, but we reversed it with you. We're like, I couldn't wait to get you on. So I'm like, we got to hit you up for a few 20-minute segments. We did one on mental health, one on wellness. Can't remember what the other one was about. Maybe some things we were thankful for.
Yes, it was Christmas. Thankful. Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. I actually listened to it again this morning when I was working out because it showed up. And it was funny because you had commented about the Hallmark thing. We got to start there because it's so good. Tell the audience about the 3 slogans you have for your signs that you want to do, because I think they're brilliant.
I have printouts of them. You want to see them?
Yeah, well, sure, why not?
Yeah, it's 2 seconds. Yeah,
we'll get them. Well, he's going to get them. So I should preface this that Utah has one of the greatest 1-star reviews. It's like a thing. Trapper and I already talked about this on a previous episode, but basically Salt Lake is known for its skiing. And so what Snowboard and Alta did is they posted up on their signs, reverse marketing is what I call it, 1-star rating, snow is too deep. 1-star rating, the hill is too steep. Obviously if you're a skier, those are the things that you're attracted to, but we were just talking previously about how funny it is that you can really market anything with the right angle, and it's genius marketing. So with that intro, you got to you're back here. You got to hold up these signs for what you're thinking.
Yeah. So this is one. You'll understand once it's finished. It's got the Roderick logo, the QR code, nothing else. I used to give all this information on my signs that were in front of our houses, and everyone just drives right by them, So why not grab their attention? This is the one I'm putting in front of a client's house next week. And these are going to be 4 by 8 feet. So they're going to be big. Some homes are built fast. This isn't one of them.
It's so good. That's like the Getty. I was just watching the video of your dad in LA, a 4-year build. He can only take in 8 yards at a time. I don't know if I would have the patience to do that. I really don't think I could have done it.
It's the hardest thing about what my dad does for sure is he's on these jobs that everything about him is just so complex that every day is just a grind. When you build a house that's a year and a half, you're dying to be done with it. Imagine 4.5 years.
I don't think I have the right mindset for it. You got to show me the last one here while we're on signs. This one's my favorite one.
Yeah, you read it.
Yeah, this isn't a project. It's a future memory. I think it's great. These were amazing. I love them because I love marketing. I've always I think the last 10 years I've sort of said I'm a marketer who happens to build just because I love, compared to builders, I'm good at marketing. Compared to marketers, I'm not that great, but I'm very susceptible to marketing because my cousin who's an engineer always laughs. He goes, you are the easiest person in the world to sell to because an engineer is super skeptical. They need facts and data. I just need a good marketing slogan. You got me.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. It's going to be fun. They're getting printed right now. This should be done, I think, Wednesday next week. So.
When they're installed, will you send a video and tag Curious Builder? We'll
Absolutely.
put it up because it is. I think it's great. I love everything about it.
Yeah, well, thank you. Really
Um,
appreciate it.
well, let's do a quick intro. I know you, obviously. We've had you on a few times, but for the audience that doesn't know you, why don't you give us the quick 5 minute elevator pitch of where you are, who you are, how you got into building. You've got a 5 generation legacy. We could probably talk the whole episode about that, but I really want to move on to other things besides that because they can call you, look at your website, which is incredible. But why don't we start there? Why don't you give us the
Yeah,
quick
yeah,
the
thank you.
rundown?
Yeah, so my name's Trapper Roderick. Like Mark said, fifth generation builder. It came from both sides of my family. Some were land guys, some were building skyscrapers, others were in the trades, and my dad was in the residential home space. And so I always knew I was going to be in home building. I actually studied architecture for like my first 3 years of college before the other 7 years of college. And I, quickly learned I didn't want to be an architect. I still love architecture. I love being involved in that design, but I was just meant to be in home building and in guiding clients through their architecture and how the space moves and working with architects to make sure that they're not building something that client cannot afford. So yeah, that was a big part of my journey. But I didn't jump into construction right away. I went through all these other businesses, marketing, and all of them started with marketing. So I'm similar to you. I'm a marketer at heart as well. None of those ideas worked without my marketing, and so I was a haberdasher for a while, and that was probably the best. Did a lot of sales stuff. Got to travel the world and really meet some really cool people making custom suits and clothing for them. So it was a blast. But yeah, then during all that, I was fixing and flipping homes just because I couldn't stop with the construction side of things. Like it was just always such a big part of me, and is really a part of my core, my hands. Like even though I don't do construction, I look like I do every day. It's just a big part of my identity. Everyone who knows me has always known that would be me as a builder, and building a team, to the level that I expect out of myself has been a challenge. And I'm so involved in the design that oftentimes I think I scare away architects. Not that I'm intending to, right? Like I love working with great architects because they have way better ideas and way better vision than I do. But I love like seeing how their process works and being involved with them when I get that chance. And yeah, my dad runs the company in Los Angeles. I run the same company essentially in Utah. They're completely separate, but we brand together, we work together. He helps me when there's something that's way over my head, and I help him on the business side when the opportunity presents itself.
Yeah, that's amazing. One of the things that I was curious about was what did you learn? I just think it's such a cool backstory. You're like a Renaissance man. I love the idea that you had a haberdashery. That's just a baller thing to say. What did you learn from owning, the haberdashery, and how have you applied it to custom home building?
So I was like, you wouldn't know it today, but like I was kind of a wimp when it came to being able to talk to people or sell to people. Like I would have never knocked on a door 20 years ago and like tried to sell cookies to somebody, right? Like, and now like I'm relatively fearless because I learned that like if you walk into like, let's say you walk into a boardroom and you're meeting with a big company and you don't really know who in the room you're pitching to, right? You should never underestimate anybody. First of all, I learned that really quick because likely the guy that's in the suit is not the important person. It's usually the guy that's in the Tommy Bahama, and it's not the guy that drives the Ferrari. It's the guy that drives the F-150. Those are the important people, honestly. So don't ever underestimate somebody because the people who were like the best clients, who were the most giving, who spent the most with me, they were the most unassuming people you would ever imagine. So that taught me great things about people, but it taught me how to work with people, taught me how to sell with people, taught me how to brand and market. So much of like the haberdashery was like just having fun with it. Like people get so tied up in everything that they're doing every day and it's just a grind. But like you dreamt of doing this, right? Like Mark, you dreamed of being a builder at one point.
Definitely not.
Okay. Well, maybe the podcast, but like there's so many things that people are doing. Like someone dreamed of doing it at one point, and then they're mad that they're doing it now, right? And so the suit company taught me to have fun with it. And so we were taking pictures of skiing in suits, water skiing in suits, surfing in suits, like doing all the things that I love. So I made suits fun for me, right? And I get to do that with building too.
I think that's the secret sauce right there. That if you can find something you're passionate about, but honestly, if joy comes out, like I love Joy. It's funny because maybe it's on my mind because my daughter's 9. She came home last night and she jumped up in the air. She goes, Dad, I spelled joyous right because I read a book last night. She's like, Joyous, joyous. And she's got this little dance. But like joy is just like pouring out of it, May.
Mhm.
And my point is like, we are all very susceptible to passion, to joy, and our world needs more joy. And I think I think one of the things that attracts clients and a lot of people in the industry to building, to architecture, to design is there's like a real joyful expression in the tangible thing that we create. And it's I was someone approached me the other day about Misahus, and they said I would love to do either a brand with you or like a basic investor, but they have a design business
Mhm.
and they would like to partner. I said, great. What do you want to get out of this? And I kind of used this joke like I'm sure I'm wrong, but for the most, like, show me a wealthy builder. They don't exist. Show me a super wealthy real estate agent. They don't really exist. Show me a super wealthy designer. They don't really exist. But why does everybody think there's so much money to be made in building? And I'm not saying you can't have a good lifestyle. That's
Yeah.
not what I'm saying. And there's plenty. I think people understand that I'm not disparaging building because I'm in it and I love it.
Yeah.
But I think it's the fact that we're drawn to it because we love it. We
Mhm.
love the expression, the joy that is elicited. And it can be very toxic. We'll talk maybe a little after this about the other side of the coin, because the other side of joy is obviously depression and sadness, and they go hand in hand. And like,
Yeah.
anyway, where I'm diving, I guess, pretty deep on this is that it is so rewarding to have a career that has so much joy in it, because the process, but the people, for me, the last 4 years has been completely unlocked because of my love of other people, when I realized I wasn't alone and had a platform, the Curious Builder, and just meeting people like you. I mean, 4 years ago, you and I never would have met.
No.
And now you and I are like texting weekly for
Yeah.
sure. And now you've been on the podcast 3 times in a month. It's like, anyway, this isn't about me. I'm just so obsessed with joy, and I love that was kind of a part of like your process, like the idea that you're skiing down, taking pictures of your suits, and like I can just see it, and I'm like, who? It's like if all the other suit companies, like, why would I go to anybody else?
Yeah.
I'm going to whatever the name of your haberdashery was.
True gentleman.
True Gentleman. There we go.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm right there with you, Mark. Just life is hard enough, so why not find ways to enjoy every second of it?
Tell me about what you find joyful about building.
I'll tell you something. Yeah. So if you do your job right in building a custom home, right, then theoretically that person will probably never be a customer again because you built them a home that they don't ever want to leave.
It is kind of a dumb business
Yeah.
model. I
Yeah.
agree.
Exactly. But I have a little bit different twist on it, and it brings me a lot of joy when we achieve it with somebody. And obviously, the people in general, like they become family. And so I'll start with, when I meet a customer, I say, don't pick me because of my price. Don't pick me because of really anything. Pick me because you know that you and I can have the hard conversations. And so if you can't have those hard conversations with me, pick somebody else, because this is going to be a marriage for the time of this build and selections and all that stuff. It's hard, and not everything will be perfect, but we will do our best to make it as perfect as it can be, and maybe even better than what perfect was supposed to be. And so I also try to educate people on the scenario of, my goal is to make it so you have an offer on your home that you can't refuse, because then you will become a customer again and again and again and again.
That's a great line. I
Yeah.
like that a lot.
And it's working. My clients usually have $700 to $1 million equity in the home by the time we're done. And that's crazy to believe considering how high building costs are. So yeah, hopefully they become a spec home investor and maybe they live in them for a while, but at the end of the day, like, that's kind of our goal.
Is that because Park City, like Minnesota, we don't have that kind of market? Like, it's just people don't vacation to Minnesota. It's cold enough, but it's not. We don't have the ski hills and some of those other things. It's usually family. People move back. The way of life is amazing here. The people are amazing here. At the time of this recording, there's a lot going on in Minnesota that's not super awesome, and we're not going to go down that road right now because it'd be a unjoyous podcast. But you obviously Park City, you've got the mountains. What is it like? Your dad's in LA, which is a very desirable place to be. You're in Park City. Do you think, was it lucky, fortuitous? Like as you look around the country at other markets where you have people that can get vacationers and can get, because the idea that you could build a house and it's worth $1 million when you're done, more than when you're done. Like when I was talking to Brad Levitt, like he was on a home where it was like 24,000 square feet, and the homeowner was debating whether after 2 years to move in or just sell it and make, X number of dollars. So I'm like,
Yeah.
what the heck?
Yeah.
Like that does not happen. I'm so far away from like what happens in Minnesota. Like it's unrelatable, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, so I'm Utah through and through, right? So like my family came over with like the pioneers. So I never really envisioned it being like that. And I still think a lot of people in my market who are builders, developers, and they don't really realize it either. My dad, all the homes that he was building in LA, every single one of them was a spec home, which was just crazy because they're all 30, $40 million. Again, Hollywood flair, right? Whatever. So that's what got me turned on to like the idea of spec homes. And because I was seeing how much money my dad was building them for. And then I was seeing what they were selling for, and there was an insane delta, right? Like 100% cash on cash type returns, right? And so I was like, huh. And so I kind of started studying the Park City market. And, there was some amazing things that happened in Utah, right? We had the Olympics in 2002. We pop out new babies every 10 seconds here, right? Because we're all big Mormon families. But it's become this melting pot, right? Like all my clients are moving from Chicago or Texas or Florida or California and Los Angeles. I mean, you name it, right? So everybody's coming here. And this time it's a little different. Like they're moving here for a better quality of life because they realized how crazy LA is, right? And that they never saw blue skies the way that you see them up in Park City. You are getting people from Chicago because there's like, well, I can work remote now. So why not be where I can ski, I can bike, I can golf, and I can even water ski all on the same day, theoretically, right? All within 10, 15 minutes of each other. We have like, I think it's like 9 or 12 ski resorts within an hour of the Salt Lake airport. Like it's crazy. It's not like going to Colorado where it takes you 4 hours. So you've got just some of the best mountain biking. You got some world-class golf resorts, and then you've got all these amazing ski resorts as well. So it's just become this melting pot. And then now we're getting the Olympics back again in 2034. Like it's going to be crazy. And it is crazy. I mean, I'll show you the picture I took on the way home from work the other day. The amount of cranes that were in the air. It was just like, what is happening?
When it comes to quality, craftsmanship, and performance, Pella sets the standard. Whether you're building custom homes or designing a timeless space, Pella offers innovative window and door solutions that blend beauty and efficiency. With showrooms and experts around the country, Pella makes it easy to find the perfect fit for your next project and their team to support it. Build with confidence, build with Pella. Visit Pella.com to explore products and connect with your local rep today. For more information, you can listen to episode 1 or listen to episode 109, where we bring on Pella owners and founders at Pella Northland, as well as their innovative team behind the Steady Set innovation. You had mentioned earlier on in the podcast about that, like architects, like you have a architectural eye. You went to school for architecture for 3 years. I was a little surprised right before you came on. You were just talking that I'd asked you like, what's heavy or what's difficult right now? And you're like, I would really like to work with more architects. And you couldn't figure out like, what is the hindering? I feel the same way. I think that's starting to change. And then like, I know Nick Schiffer, we were talking, the reason he's doing 45 White Oak is he kept getting passed over. He has the team, he has the chops, he has the quality, and people just would pass him over because he didn't have the pedigree or homes. But that's not your case. I mean, look at the home behind you. I mean, look at all the homes you guys have built. So what is it? Let's talk a little bit about that. Why has it been hard to get architects in terms of how you call on them? Are you even getting to the table to bid? Or let's talk a little bit about that.
That's a great question. Yeah, I'm not getting on the table to bid. I mean, they usually know who I am, that's at least a start, right? I did land a job recently that's coming from an amazing architect, but it started with the client, and then he asked the architect, "Yeah, have you ever heard of Roderick?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I've heard of him." And so, I'm diving deep on it because I don't know why. I feel like we are a really good attribute to an architect, right? Because the architect, they pour their heart into these plans, and they want it to look like it is. And I think there's nothing worse for an architect than when another builder kind of butchers their awesome plans. I've seen it, and they've commented on it, and I'm just like, man, like if I was going to change an architect's plans like that much, I would definitely be consulting them because I want to enhance their plan if possible. Like I want to, if I'm walking something, I'm like, hey, this isn't right. Like I'm going to call them. I'm not calling the client. Like, hey, let's talk it out. Let's work it through. But Yeah, it's definitely something I want to solve. And I think Brad's been a big inspiration to me, like using things like LinkedIn to educate other architects of who I am and why we're a good fit for them, you know?
How you just something you mentioned there. So like architects here anyway have construction administration. So probably 90%, 95% of the architecture fees from the architect to the client, obviously up front, getting everything done. But then depending if you have an interior designer or whether the architecture firm handles interior design,
Mhm.
either way they're very involved. And then, they're approving windows, shop drawings, engineering, and then most of our architects here are keeping, CA hours, construction administration. Do they not do that there? Because you kind of implied that some builders would kind of sort of take their and kind of water down the plans. Does that mean
Yeah.
that the architects are not staying on board for the duration of the builds?
The good architects are, but it's more of a problem on the build side, right? Like everybody in Utah is a contractor. I mean, there is probably more F-350s in this state than there are Honda Civics and Camrys and Teslas, right? Like combined.
That's so funny.
So,
That's because they got to haul their kids in a camper.
no joke. So, yeah, I think it's a lot of just like the bad reputation of builders. Like they blow and go, right? They don't really care. But there are a lot that do, and I think a lot of what's maybe deterred other architects, like local architects, from working with me is, you know, you see some of the jobs I've worked on, and maybe it looks like I have it all figured out, right? Like this is a Thomas Johansson design. He's out of New York. Like he it's a pretty impressive design, you know? So maybe it looks like I have it all together, but like I'm not too good for any build, right? Like I don't just do 40 and $50 million homes in Los Angeles. Like I'll do a $2 and $3 million home here in Park City, like no problem. Like I'm not too good for it. And so I think that's a big part of like some of my rebranding is making sure people know that I am never too good for anything, and I just want to work on good jobs with good people, with good design and good architects. And I'm putting together similar to our those signs. I'm mailing out handwritten letters to all these architects, and I'm going to start with that on one side:
What does it say?
design led, construction mastered. Because all too often the design is forgotten by the time the builder even puts his hands on it, as he's trying to save the client money because he underbid it.
Yeah, I think that's great. Yeah, I just wrote that down because I'm going to do the same thing. It's like anything, it's a relationship. I mean, I can speak a little bit for myself. Like for 21 years, I think I can think of two, two projects that I've gotten in 21 years where the architect came to me. And oddly enough, it was not because I was the first option. It was because they couldn't, right? It was the third option, which is fine. I'll be
Yeah.
happy to save the day. And we did. And now we have a great relationship with that architect. And we're in talks right now for a big project with a very well-known architect. But they did say the other day, I checked in with them and they said, well, they asked me for three and I put you at the top of the list. And I'm like, amazing. That's all I can ask for is the opportunity.
Yeah.
And we do the same. I mean, in our market, this is kind of my standard question because I'm always just curious different areas of the market. I haven't interviewed a ton of Utah builders, which obviously in Q1 I'm working up the West Coast here, and so I'll be doing a handful from Utah. But in Minnesota, we have a huge builder legacy here, right? So the Parade of Homes started in Minnesota 76 years ago, 77 years ago. It's the oldest in the country.
Yeah.
And so Midwest is very builder first. And so for me, it's I assemble the team. And at least that's what my marketing does. That's what I do. That's also geographically what has kind of been the playbook. So they come to me. I put together the design team and the architecture team. We do joint interviews. Sometimes it's just this is the person. You just
Yeah.
know it, and that's who it is. But most of the time, it's one or two architects, one or two designers.
Mhm.
We interview. They pick who the bet team, and away we go.
Mhm.
So when I ask architects here, their default answer will be most of the builders bring us the leads, which
Yeah.
I don't totally believe because I don't believe in 21 years that no architects get any leads. But anyway, maybe it's just me. I don't know. Anyway, I'm curious in your market, and not just you, but where do you think is it mostly builder driven? And if so, do you have any idea on the metrics? Like, is it 90-10? Is it,
I bet I don't have the metrics, but yes, it is heavily builder driven on like the 3 million and under market, but like the 5 to 20 million, it's very real estate agent driven because they're selling these people this lot that costs them $2 million. And they're like, well, who does good work in this neighborhood? So if you haven't built in like, say, like a promontory, they're just going to look like, well, Upwell designed that house next door. That's pretty cool. Like, and who built it? That looks good to me. Sounds good. Cause all these people are from out of state. I was just in Promontory right before I came here. We're looking at a deal there, and there's 1,900 home sites in Promontory, and it's one of the
What? I'm
nicest.
sorry. What's promontory?
It's one of the nicest communities that overlooks like all the ski mountains. You can see ski slopes for days, and it's got 4 golf courses. Well, 3 right now. We'll have 4. So big gated community, super nice, right? One of the more successful gated communities, right? And you know, there was only 16% of the people that live there are permanent residents. And
Wow.
yeah, exactly. And the
That's
average,
it. I mean, is that? I mean, obviously we like to build it, but it's also, I mean, I don't even know where to go with this question. I mean, it's just kind of, I mean, that's just like wild a
you
little bit,
know,
the wealth, and these are all second homes if that's the case, but it's
sure,
kind of a bit of a graveyard. If only 16% of 1,900 homes, that is not very many. That's what, 160 homes,
yeah, crazy.
200 homes out of,
Yeah.
oh my
But
word.
the crazy part is like, so there's 3 golf courses in that community, and like they're booked every day.
So people come
So people
in
are
to
coming
golf
in
there.
and using it. And it's mostly people that, they thought they wanted a ski in, ski out house. They were looking at like Park City or something like that, canyons to have, and they realized, oh wait, I'm only going to ski 10 days a year, but I'm going to golf and bike and all these other things 80 or 100 days a year. Yeah, the wealth is insane. There's some new records getting beaten there right now, like $50 million homes in Park City, Utah. It's crazy.
Wow, that is pretty wild. So okay, so your strategy this year, handwritten notes. What do you do when one of the oldest adages in business is the best way to grow your business is help somebody grow theirs.
Yeah.
What I've sort of tried to do is if I have a client, I bring them to the architects, obviously.
Yeah.
Where are your clients right now? How are they coming to you?
Yeah, I mean, I tend to find them a lot of them through real estate agents. I'm very good to the real estate agents in this community. I've got a reputation for one, right? So that helps. But I'm starting to hold more events like at the homes that I've finished, especially whether it's like my spec house or a spec house I did for a client. Like I'm having agents that maybe aren't selling the home come and see it, like just so they can know how we are and how we work. And I'm making sure that I'm going to all my HBA meetings and helping them understand really all the things that we do, not just like, hey, how are you? Like we're friends, but really diving deep into each other's stuff because there's so many ways we can help each other. Just kind of even like along some of the texts that I sent you today about some of the people in my CBUSA group, like just making sure I'm being involved is a big, big push for it. And then I'm also with that handwritten note thing, I'm pulling up all the title records and I'm anyone that has bought a lot in 5 of these neighborhoods that I love in the last 6 months, I have their mailing address. And I'm doing the same thing to the now landowners, the handwritten notes.
Are you doing that manually, or is there a way you can scrub it? I know you're like a master of AI. How are
So
you? Is
AI
there able?
is scrubbing it, yes.
Yeah.
But you could also just call your local title company. And since it's land and not a house, they can give you the information. So that's how I started. And then I had my AI scrub from then on. And I could obviously have it automatically print a message, but I want to do the handwritten message. So
I think it's more
yeah.
meaningful. It tracks. I mean, I think we did we did for our Misa Who's project. We did. There's a small community in Cottagewood. I think it's like 260 homes only,
Mhm.
and so I did a. We live in Minneapolis, so I get the mailers like crazy,
Yeah.
and I just the amount of waste is insane. The amount of stuff I throw away.
Oh
It's
my
like,
gosh.
I mean, when my mailbox fills up, I maybe like one thing is for me. The rest of it is just like junk. And so anyway, so I'm like, well, with that in mind, I did wedding invitations that were black with like white ink, like they were super cheap as you could imagine. And but I was funny because I have a couple designers that live in the town, and they were like, yeah, everyone's a buzz about Misus, but they're really annoyed because they all thought they were going to a wedding, and so then they open it up and they're like, all it was, hey, we're building in your neighborhood. Here's a QR code to our website. We want to thank you in advance for your patience while we work on this beautiful community. Blah, coming in the
Oh
summer of
gosh.
26. But everyone thought it was so it did the magic. Everyone opened it. But anyway,
Mm,
just kind of a funny way to just do something a little bit
that's a good
differently.
idea. I might have to steal it because I was thinking like, how am I going to get someone to open these letters, right? Like I was thinking I probably need to have like really sloppy handwriting on the actual like envelope. So you can clearly tell like this is a handwritten letter.
That's funny.
But
I like, you know what, honestly, I think for those that are watching this or see the clips, I think that black, that negative space is super powerful.
yeah,
Depending on, you can, however you're coming up with these, but like come up with a few more for the neighbors and then I think less is more. I think yours is so powerful because it fits your branding. I
yeah,
think it's a black envelope with like like just white space on it. Like who wouldn't want to open it or something like
yeah,
most people wouldn't open this,
yeah.
but you're not like most people, or
But
like,
you're
something. I
too
mean,
curious.
yeah. Oh, I could. Yeah, I'd have to open it up, right? And then maybe it's just a QR code. Like
Yeah.
maybe there's nothing else but a QR code. But then in the world we live in, it'd be like the QR code takes you to we just hack your bank account. Like there'd be some paranoid people that
Well,
are just like,
yeah, I mean, I'll tell you how I have it currently, right? So there's the handwritten note. It
yep,
does have the QR code,
yep.
but the QR code actually leads to a video of me talking, just like you
Oh,
and I are.
I like that. I like that. Oh, I like that a lot. I think I might have to write that
I'm going
down.
to tell you, I'm going to give you the whole playbook. I already went over it with Brad Robinson, like the
Of
whole
course.
playbook.
Well, between the three of us, the amount of ideas we give each other that we
We're
need
going to go
full time
bankrupt.
assistants. Well, that's
We'll,
also true.
we'll kill
Someone
it.
I interviewed someone the other day. Well, Julia Miller, very fabulous designer. She's actually done stuff out in Sun Valley, and she does stuff out west. And she was at the curated event out in Utah a couple of months ago,
Mhm.
and she she was laughing because I was showing her all the swag. She's like, "How much do you spend a year on swag?" And I was like, because I was showing her those Nike shoes that I gave all my Curious Builder ambassadors, and I was like, I told her, and she's like, "You did what?" I'm like, well, there's a method to the madness. I mean,
Dude,
my logic for that is they're wearing them at International Builder Show. They're wearing them in their collectives, and like it,
the
when you
amount
go,
of jealousy I have
yeah,
towards those shoes every time I see someone wearing them, oh, I would pay more than Nike could ever sell them for.
Nike didn't sell them. I had to custom make them.
No,
But I tell you what, when we open up a Utah collective, don't worry, I already know who's going to be my ambassador. It's
looking
you.
forward to it.
And so then you'll get your one day when I call, you'll be like, is this the day I get my shoes?
Yeah, it's
That's
like
the
the
only thing you're
green
going to care
jacket,
about.
for
Yeah.
the
Oh yeah,
fest.
like the master's jacket. So one of the things we kind of clumsily go back to, we talked about joy, and I think we need to go because it's something you and I bonded on.
Mhm.
We met at Contractor Coalition a couple months ago. We were in Chicago. Amazing opening night. We named the open mic night after Ron Jensen, a fellow builder in Utah that
Mhm.
committed suicide. Turns out the night that we had the open mic, and we were talking about mental health, it was super, super powerful. And we're now going to name it the Ron Jensen Open Mic Night. We'll do it at every single Contractor Coalition Summit. And where I was going with this is the opposite side of joy is obviously sorrow, and we deal with it. And you sent me this two beautiful texts today because the day we're recording this obviously is 3 weeks from when this airs, but on the day that this episode we're recording it is you had sent the previous episode where we talked a lot about the mental health, and people can go back to that episode and learn more a little bit about it. But
Mhm.
it was just a beautiful message that just share a little bit. You don't have to go the names or anything, but just like
Yeah.
I sent that to Brad, Morgan, Nick, and Tyler, just like because when people tell you how your light is helping their life, like that's the power of joy and care and empathy that we need to talk more about. And every time it happens, it's like that rock in the water, and the ripple that's coming out of it is just incredible. The ripple effect.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just sent the episode to like the CB USA group, and I just said, hey, like, hey guys, I think this episode could be good for everybody, but also if anyone's interested in the Curious Builder, I can't promise that you'll get on, but I'd be willing to make an introduction for you, right? So, because I wanted to get some traffic to you, and then I also, just wanted actually people to listen to it, and I was shocked that I think more people from that group listened to it than my family did, right? The amount of responses I got, which we don't ever get responses in these chat groups, were pretty impactful. I didn't know so many people were struggling. There was literally three people like, I'm really bogged down right now. So I really needed that message. Like, thank you so much. Which then obviously opened up other conversation of like, hey, like, we're both builders. I understand a lot of your pains, not all of them, but I understand a lot of what goes into building, and I'm here for you. We don't have to be competitors or anything like that. We're here to help each other. And so it was really powerful. And one of them was just like, you must have been inspired by God because like today was really bad, and maybe I was, I don't normally do things like that. So yeah, maybe I was.
Well, it's that old saying, it's not odd, it's God. It's, I think we don't know how we're impacting another person. And I think sometimes maybe people think I try to give thanks for a meal when I'm out to eat or wherever I am. Just all I have to do is say thank you. And it's something we do as a family, and it's not for show. It's not any of that. And, as I'm trying to teach my kids, they're young. And so they still sometimes are uncomfortable praying in front of other people or at a restaurant and just bowing their head. But what's really interesting is when you are at a restaurant, a coffee shop, wherever you might find yourself, and you look around and you see somebody else bowing their head just to give thanks. It's a beautiful moment. There's something in you. Or when we see kindness or when we see love, like how are we not moved when we see, like, you can clearly see like a dad hugging a grandpa or a child. There's something about children that, of course, that is just super special. Children just have a unique, but adults too. Like I don't know. I think I've never thought about this out loud. If I was a good writer or something, which I'm not, I think it'd be amazing to just travel the world and sit in coffee shops and observe people. Like, wouldn't that be amazing to just watch people interact and just watch them love each other? I mean, you'd see fighting, you'd see all of it, but I think there'd be a very special outpouring of just watching how people interact. And I think that's what moves me. And that's how I would feel encouraged.
I think I mentioned to you that my sister makes coffee table books.
I did not know. If you did, I forgot.
It was just at the Contractor Coalition. So I always make these big coffee table books of a project when I'm done with it, so I can give it to the client. Here's the plans. Here's all the pictures. Like, it's kind of fun for them. But she does it like each one's themed, and so she did one on Christ, which I was shocked she picked that for her first one. Like,
she went to the top of the shelf, one and done.
Yeah, and then she's done like one on Italy. But wow, I think that's going to be maybe one of her next coffee table books. Is people throughout the country, the United States, no names, right? But people bowing their head at coffee shops, people, the way they interact with their kids or a grandpa, right? Total strangers. I think that could be really, really special, because you're right. It's amazing.
Anyway, just I guess what prompted this was that gentleman's text to you. Just thank you for sharing. We just don't know how. Or like, actually, I did this in college once. This is kind of funny. I went to the University of Minnesota, big campus, probably too big. It's funny because I made it really small. I had like 4 friends, and like all we did was when it got really big, we got really small. And anyway, there was a sociology thing that we had where we had to like engage with the public. And so I had this idea, like when you go down the street and someone's like, "Hey, how you doing?" "Hi, good. How are you doing?" Like, it's almost like just saying hi. Like we don't. It's not actually a question. We don't even want to know the answer. It's become like how we talk to people.
Yeah.
And so I went down and what I did is anytime someone asked me how I was doing, I'd be like, "Terrible. How are you?" But I would say it in a positive voice. And nobody ever picked it up. I'd be like, "Awful. How are you?" And like, "Hey, Mark, how you doing?" "Terrible. How are you, man?" And like, but no one actually would like stop and be like,
That's awful.
"Did you say terrible?" And then the opposite is true. If you go out and somebody is like, somebody's like, "Hey, Roderick, how you doing?" And you'd be like, "Man, I'm doing really good." It's just I'm taking the two things and mixing them. I confused a lot of people. It was beautiful. But where I'm going with this super dumb story is, have you ever had it where someone is like, you feel moved, where someone's like, "Trapper, how are you doing?" Or like, I love it when someone asks differently, when they're like, "Trapper, how are you doing?"
Yeah.
Like you can just tell, like, this isn't a flyby. This is like your opportunity. Do you want to share something? And like, I was just thinking about like different questions, the way we could ask it. Like, is there anything like you're carrying right now that's just really heavy you want to talk about? Like, it doesn't and I don't think we have to force people to get, like, the worst thing you can do is force someone to get super vulnerable if they don't want to. But like, how often does someone actually just sit down and just say, "What do you got, big guy? Lay it on me. I'm here for you." That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I mean, it needs to happen more often, because before phones and technology, it did happen more often. I think that's why, like, I did have a depression state in my life, like when I was younger. And what got me out of it is I went camping every weekend with my buddies, right? For like a year and a half straight. But being outdoors, and we had those conversations, right? Because you're driving for hours and hours, right? And so, yeah, I do notice that. And I'm going to make an effort to do that once a week at least.
Once a week to go camping?
No, to ask someone.
It's like, wow, that's aggressive. It's like, wow, that's aggressive.
So divorced so fast.
Well, that's fine. Do you guys have children?
We got 2, yeah.
2, yeah. What ages?
6-year-old and a year and a half.
Okay,
The
so
boy's the
that's
year
all.
and a half, the girl's 6. Yeah.
Yeah, those are. I mean, six is a really fun age. I mean, 1.5
Yeah.
is too, but man, six is a
Mhm.
pretty golden moment. What do you think? Are there things that in your career, personal life, that have caused you to like? What's caused you to slow down, to sort of reevaluate your trajectory, either as a person or as a business?
There's going to be a lot of people that I know that listen to this, so I got to be careful. But years ago, and I'll tell you the rest of the story off air, but me and my wife went through a really hard time, and it was nasty. And in short, we were able to mend it and make it work. And but it changed the perspective of everything. It changed me. Like I would get angry. I didn't need to be angry. I wasn't appreciative of things, and vice versa, right? I mean, but it changed everything. And you told a story when I first met you of how you have like this regiment schedule. You got to be home at this time, and if you leave 3 minutes late, like you're screwed, right? That's me. But I there's days where it's like, oh, do I really have to leave right now? Like I'm in the middle of something, but I make it a priority because my wife is my priority. My wife, my kids are my priority. And the family I have created will never be affected by anything that created me, right? Like that is the most important
Say
thing.
that one. Say that one more time.
The family I've created should never be affected by the family that created me.
Like, explain that a little bit.
So whether it's my family, my mom, right? My family comes first over my mom and my dad.
Understood. Okay, got you.
My family comes first before the friends that I had before. Anything that came before doesn't matter compared to what I have created
Understood.
with my little family. And that has to come above all. Doesn't matter work or anything like that. I mean, there's obviously sacrifices and times where that my family, but communicating it, working through it. And but it's helped me take it into my my life as a contractor. Because now when someone has something with their kid, I'm like, dude, leave, go do that. That's more important. And then now, me and that electrician or whatever, like, we'll do anything for each other in business because we made sure that we put the family first, right? And so, like, just like little things like that. But a big one was that struggle in that period of time.
We're happy to announce that on March 20th, Sauna Camp will be coming back to Minnesota for its second annual event. We're going to have 3 panelists talking about wellness. We've got a Mount Everest summiter, we've got 2 Ironman athletes, and the inventor of hostage tape. In addition, we're going to have, of course, 2 hours of sauna and cold plunge with some Himalayan chocolate in between. We'll have themed saunas. We'll have story sauna, silent sauna, community sauna for different topics. And then we'll end with an amazing wood-fired meal from Fumo. All the details are on the curiouspodcast.com. So I'm curious, like, if you were to look back now, like, what changes have you made in the business or as you see it now, like, it was really difficult. Like, you put in the hard work, you and your wife, kudos to both of you, by the way, because that's not easy. I mean, I've often said that bad marriages are terrible, but good marriages are hard too. I can't even imagine. And so, like, you just both have to, and everyone, whether they talk about it or not, like, life is hard. And like, you've heard that platitude. It's true. Like, choose your hard. Like,
Mhm.
both paths are really hard. Like, where do you want to invest your effort in? And so kudos to you guys for
Thank you.
working through it. And so what have you learned? Like, if you had to go back to Trapper 6 years ago, so
Yeah.
4 years past you fixing it, what would the Trapper today from 2026 tell the Trapper of 2020? First of all, COVID's coming. Quick, buy a bunch of stuff. But after that one,
Buy a bunch of toilet paper. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, setting boundaries, right? Like, and that's not just with yourself. I mean, you have to set boundaries with yourself, like first, right? Like, work is here, home is here. So I don't really take my work home. Sometimes I work in the basement after everyone's gone to bed, but like doing my best, like phone gets set aside. And if there is an important call that's going to be coming, I make sure everyone's aware ahead of time, right? So I'm not just interrupting dinner. So I'm home for dinner every night almost. Like, very rarely do I not have dinner with my family. It doesn't matter if a client wants to have dinner or anything like that. Like, it's kind of off limits. So personal boundaries, but then also then taking that to my clients. Like, if a client wants to meet on a Saturday ahead of time, like when I first meet them, I tell them Saturdays are off the table and Sundays are off the table. Doesn't mean that someone might not be working on your house or something like that, but I will not be, and I will not be answering or responding to anything on those days. So I think just boundaries is probably the biggest one. And man, it just, I get to enjoy being home where I think so many, and yeah, my mind's still spinning like, cool, I'm an entrepreneur or whatever, right? But I get to enjoy it more than I ever did before.
I mean, I've been banging that drum for the last 2 years because my favorite quote has been boundaries create freedom. And you saw, I mean, that was the first time I've given that speech before to the Contractor Coalition was
Mhm.
all about that, right? And I have just seen so much growth in myself and in those around me. And it's not easy. Like growth is hard. Like I was telling the kids the other day, like, it doesn't grow if you don't water it, but it also doesn't grow if the sun doesn't shine on it. And oh, by the way, sometimes if you go a couple days without water, the roots grow deeper. So honestly, you kind of need to have hard things too. And so I guess the life is sort of beautiful that way if you can sort of appreciate the difficult. And I think it's the journey, right? It's like if we always are, and I think this is a good lesson for building, or I've found it to be true that like people ask, well, I'll ask you, what is your favorite part of the build? If you had to pick one, like what excites you the most?
Damn, Mark, that's a really good question. I mean, probably finished carpentry, but we do a lot of it in our homes. I mean, you guys do too, but it's not just drywall, right? Like, I think that's when the home comes to life, or stone, like natural, raw, like anything that's just like, oh, you just love it. You want to lay on it, whatever it is. Like, I think that's my favorite part.
So where I'm going with this is like you have to find joy in the journey because it's not about the destination. Now, from a selling standpoint, like especially a spec home, like we're excited for when it's done so we can
Yeah.
sell it,
Yeah.
and so and all that. But like for me, it's like the first couple meetings. I love the dopamine hit as a salesperson.
Mm.
I love arranging the team, those initial design meetings. I get so excited about the team and the excitement of it could be anything, and the architects are doing their
Yeah.
thing, and the designers are doing. So I get that's mine. I agree with you. If I was to pick a tangible thing, for sure. Like right now, where I'm at with Misa Hoos, like we've got 2 months of trim and cabinetry, and I'm like, every day I go there, I'm like, oh, this is amazing. Like I love the tangible, the meat and the wood, and as you're pointing
Well,
out,
you'll be done in like March, April.
we'll be done. Nope, a little bit later than that because we've got about a month and a half of paint and about a month of plaster,
Uh,
and then we've got all, of course, all finishes. So we'll finish right now. We're May 12th
yeah. So
is roughly.
we're about a month and a half ahead of you. So
Yeah,
it'll be
yeah,
fun. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so what do you do? Going back to the other side of the coin, are there people that in your area, like what inspires you to sort of like people ask all the time, like, where do you get your energy or where do you get your joy? Or when you like reset, like what are some foundational things that really help you get perspective? Because you mentioned the boundaries were hugely helpful, but like every year, do you sort of look either with your spouse or with yourself and kind of write like goals or the boundaries that you would like to? I mean, I feel like it takes an active effort to get rid of things. Like we accumulate things in our life, no different than a remodel. It's like one of the most cathartic thing, or most I should say challenging things for a client is like if you're going to do a remodel, they have to move out of their house.
Yeah.
They got to get rid of everything out of their house so then we can remodel it. And usually one person sort of likes it and the other person dreads it.
Oh yeah.
That's a metaphor for how do you do that personally in your business and in your life as you look forward? I don't know if you do it, how you do it. Is it year to year, quarterly, not at all? Like how do you think about that?
I mean, I think about it every day, honestly. I mean, it doesn't mean I have a reset every day, but I kind of do in a weird way. So I've got this giant dog that my wife doesn't love. He's actually on the floor right below me right now. He's part poodle, part Newfoundland, and she loves the dog, but she just doesn't want him to live with us because he's big and black, and we have a house that's like stark white everywhere. But I walk him every night for like 45 minutes to an hour, and so I make calls at night to anyone really who will answer the phone, which, because it's late, it's 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock my time, usually. It's freezing. But I get to hear other people's stories, other people's sadnesses. Sometimes no one answers the phone. And so I'm scrolling across the Curious Builder podcast. And strangely enough, like you were on my mind last night, as well as a few others. And the amount of energy and organization that you have, like I feel like I'm pretty organized, but man, you guys are just taking it to another level. And it's inspiring to see like how you do all these other things. Like how are you doing the podcast and running a good construction company? Well, you've been a little bit better at delegating a lot of what you do on the job site, more running the business versus, being in the jobs than maybe me. And that really is inspiring. So like but I get something like that every day. And just last night, you happened to be on my mind. Maybe it's because we were preparing for this, but yeah, I think people are what really give me those resets, because there was another guy. He's a legend in Utah. His name's Walt Plum. Really, nobody knows who he is, but like he's like this silent, probably billionaire, right? Like no one knows he's this wealthy guy. But it's just so fun, like to be with him, and because he's not just there about the money, he's genuinely there about the friendship, and he's teasing me. He's like 80, he wants to do push-up contests. He's trucking through the snow as we're looking at lots. And I'm like, oh my gosh. But he asks questions about my family. He asks questions about if I could build in any neighborhood in this entire community right now, which one am I picking? And because he's like sitting there going, how can I help Trapper? Right. Because he doesn't need the money. He's taking time out of his day to go drive and hike some lots. So that's really inspiring to me. Like, how can I be more like a Walt Plum?
I think that's a really great answer. I think I just had my grandma just turned 99 last week, and she's super with it. We went and visited her,
Awesome.
and it was really cool because I let each kid ask her one question, and it was just beautiful to watch
Yeah.
the children ask, these funny questions. You'll get a kick of this. My soon-to-be 6-year-old asked my grandma, his great grandma, he goes to Grandma Lou, how many of your teeth are real and how many of them are fake? Like, how many of your teeth are permanent? And she said something like, I think I've got 4 or 5 permanent teeth. The rest are replaced. And Tate's like, yeah, I've got about 4 or 5 permanent ones too. Cause like he's just losing his baby teeth. Like, I don't think he really dawned on him. Like it was, I died laughing.
Oh my
But
gosh.
I think as we get older and when they're younger, like the only thing that really matters is like time that we spend with people that we love. Like I look at my kids now and I have the parent guilt complex like anybody does. And I do know, if I'm fair with myself, that I do spend a lot of time with my kids. So it's not that I don't, but it's like we
Yeah.
all still deal with it. It's the whole cat in the cradle, Cat Stevens song, right? And it's like, but like you come home, you're tired from I don't know if this is true for you, but like you spend all your patience on your client and you have all this energy you give to your work and you give it a lot. And even if you have a lot to give, at some point you got to refill it by sleeping, and you have to do some self-care, like working out or like, whatever is fulfilling for you. And then, by the time I get home, I have dinner, I give the kids baths, like I'm like a shell of a human being. Like I am tired. I just need to sleep, sauna, or like I just don't have a lot left to give because I've used it all up. I've been up since 4:30. I've got nothing. And like the kids, and then of course Tate's like, Dad, do you want to have a Nerf gun war? Dad, do you want to play Monopoly? And you're just like, you want to say yes, but you're just like, you're not your best self. And so how have you sort of navigated, that, I don't know, I'd call it guilt complex or whatever you want to call it.
Man.
Or are you still there and you haven't figured it out?
No, I have not figured it out, but I mean, I can tell you how I deal with it. I'm really good at setting work aside and taking a vacation, even if it's the worst time at work possible. I am good at that. At least I think I am. I hope my wife agrees. Like tomorrow, I know my daughter has Friday and Monday off. And so we're leaving to go to California for a few days. It's a terrible time right now for me to leave, but I'm going to do it. And obviously those come in, months apart, but it's something we get to look forward to and just do us. There's not the kids' activities either and stuff like that. But I do think about it a lot because literally it's like you just described my whole night last night. I was so exhausted. My daughter did ask how many teeth of mine were fake. And
Did she really?
Yeah, because I have my 4 front teeth are implants.
Oh, funny. They get knocked out or what? Skiing, or were you doing a suit video and you ran into a tree?
Knocked them out twice.
Doing what?
Skateboarding the first time, and then I knocked the implants out in a car wreck.
Oh, ouch.
So yeah.
Oh, there you go.
But yeah, I was so done. I didn't want to walk the dog, and I knew my wife needed some attention too. And so I was just like, I didn't have anything to give her. So I was like, you go get in the tub. You just enjoy yourself. I'll listen for the kids. I'll walk the dog later. I'm gonna nap though while you take the bath. And then this was like already like 10 o'clock, like you were sound asleep. But I don't know, it's just every day is different. And I think you also, what we need to observe what other people need, because it sometimes puts what we need in perspective. I was so exhausted and tired, but I can guarantee my wife was just as tired or more. And I think that helps with perspective in those moments.
Yeah, I think that's a good answer. I still like the idea where I was like, you were going to commit to camping every week. You're like, no, I was committing to talking to someone every week about something deep. Yeah, I heard something, kind of interesting about like asking I decided the other day with the kids, maybe it's been in my mind for a while, but like any question that they have, I want to answer truthfully. I'm looking at my notes in my studio right now. My daughter interviewed me over Christmas, and it was this
That
really
was
beautiful
so
moment.
cool.
We do it every year, and it's
Yeah.
just this really special thing. And but it just got me thinking of just like having these. I just like authentic, real people, and I mean, it's one of the reasons I really value our friendship. And
Yeah.
like Brad, I mean, there's so many people you meet, and I keep coming back to the Contractor Coalition Summit, not because it's because of the people and the opportunity to get to know people. It's really special, and
Yeah.
they stay in your life, and they hopefully there for a long time, but maybe it's only a season. That's okay. I think sometimes at least for me, sometimes I used to think when I was younger that if you're friends with someone, they have to be friends for your whole life, and maybe they will be, maybe they won't. That's not the point. The point
Yeah.
is you're putting a destination, you're putting a destination and a burden on their relationship that doesn't need to be there. You can just enjoy that experience, and where it goes, and it's the more that I've done that, like the more beautiful the relationships with people have become. And I've just found a lot of value just to like, I'm going to enjoy and pour myself into them. And if they reciprocate, great. If they don't, it's not going to stop me from pouring into them. Cause like, kind of like the sun's going to shine on everyone. If you want to seek the shade, seek the shade. But like, I guess in this analogy, I'm a sunbeam, but like, you just bring the joy, like just do it.
Yeah.
And, and some days I might not be so joyous, and you are. And I think that's what's beautiful about a community of people that care for each other and share, because everyone has so much to give. And, yeah, this is turning into the woo woo
Yeah.
Monday, but I mean, we're both here for it. So there you go.
Mhm.
If I had a custom suit, I'd want like hearts on the inside.
Oh, we can do that.
I know you can.
um, no, I mean, the coolest thing about great friendships, though, like, is doesn't matter how long you've been since you talked to somebody. The second you see them, you can pick up right where you left off, and
Hmm.
that's the coolest thing about like really great friendships, and
Hmm.
especially if you do your part in it.
One thing, and I meant to talk about it, I apologize that I didn't get to it. You and I are both super avid and very passionate about including wellness into our homes. We've only got 3 minutes left, so
Yeah.
we would do the topic considerably injustice. So we'll
Yeah.
we'll have to bring you off when I'd love to talk. Well, I'm hoping we'll see how it works with travel plans. I'd love to come see your house.
Yeah.
Your spec home is done. You said in a couple of months.
It should be right around like March 15th to April 15th. Depends on how many changes I do right now. I really
Depends on
hate.
how much snow you have. We might have to make a sneak visit out there with the guys trip. I know we talked about that.
There we
The
go.
question is getting the flight permission from Mrs. Williams. My travel schedule is pretty full this spring here, and I'm not.
I'm really good at booking flights.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. I've been to Utah a lot. I mean, Utah's easy to get to. I've
Yeah.
skied a ton, in the Big Canyon. I've got friends up there, and actually, that's where I bought my DPS backcountry skis. Is
Awesome.
because we would ski between Alta and Solitude. I have a buddy that kind of knows that route, and I was
That's
like, "Oh,
awesome.
this is amazing." So every time I do go there, it's like the few times I bring my backcountry skis because at least I know where I'm going. Because you don't really want to go into uncharted territory unless you're really into it, and I don't ski enough to be really into it. So it's like
Yeah.
I want to know where I'm going.
Yeah. Sure.
What you're going to be at International Builder Show?
Yeah. You
Or,
guys
or
talked me into it.
okay, so you're
Yeah.
coming. All
I'm
right.
coming.
And I know I've been. Are you bringing your wife to sauna camp?
No,
Oh, come on, Mrs. Roderick, let's go.
there's a lot more to it.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, it's not happening.
All
Next
right.
year, sure, we can do all of it that we want.
Yeah.
This year,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
nothing's on the table.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll pin that one for next year. What are you most excited for the remainder of the year? If you had to pick one thing.
Ooh, two things, honestly. I have this just home that we're going to be starting in February that it's going to take every bit of 18, 19 months to build, but it's going to be in the Parade of Homes in 2027. It's got a three-sided infinity pool. I mean, it's going to knock the socks off of some people when they see that view over Deer Valley. So we're very excited about that. And then I'm really excited to do more of this, right? Like just
Mhm.
grow the community, help other people, work with other brands. I mean, there's so many cool things that we're already doing, but like, why aren't we partnering with somebody else who's doing the same thing that we can help them and they can help us, right? Like, so growing our personal brand and partnerships with brands.
Mm-hmm. I forgot to do this with our last guest, so I will let you do it. You get to leave the intro question for the next guest, who actually is going to be Stacy Ekman up in Seattle and LA. I don't know if you know Stacy. He's leading our Curious Collective.
We've had some interesting kind of conversations, and we've been told to meet way too many times by Morgan, but it never works out. And
All
now
right, so here's your
to Hawaii.
yeah. So here's your question.
Yeah.
You get to leave him a question. So I will start his episode, which will air the week after yours. What question would you like me to ask him?
I'm actually going to still. I think it was your question. What is the biggest mistake Like, I want to know the biggest mistake you made on a job, and that it can't be financial related. It can be because like the financial detriment was bad, but like, did a wall fall over? Did you break the water lines? Did you break the post tension slab? What have you done in construction that was just like, oh my gosh, I should have been so fired so fast for that?
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. That
good
sounds like
question.
a good one. I appreciate your time. We'll have everything in your show notes. You'll be back on, I'm sure, many times this
Yeah,
year. And we'll see you down
yeah,
in Orlando.
let's do it.
All
Thanks,
right,
Mark.
buddy. Appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in to the Curious Builder podcast. If you like this episode, do us a favor, share it with 3 other business owners. The best way that we can spread what we're doing is by word of mouth, and with your help, we can continue to help other curious builders expand their business. Please share it with your friends, like and review online, and thanks again for tuning in.